We are back, and this week, AMD strikes back at the supercards and at Intel. The MacBook is RIP'd, and Nintendo Switch loses weight, gets a little light, and more. As we, together, as an entire universe, check it out. We are back on another slowed and throwed Saturday to talk about the tech news. Alright, checking it out. This is what we do on Saturdays. And in our first story, after the release of the supercards last week, AMD was not going to sit idly by and let Nvidia just, take their new cards out before they even launch. They're like, nah, we're just going to lower the prices to match the supercards, and we're going to beat the performance a little bit. So there you go. So before their cards even came out, because they launched over the weekend, they announced that they cut the prices by $50. So the 5700 they dropped to $349, and the XT they dropped to $400 to compete directly with the 2060 and the 2060 Super. And the XT model, performance-wise, is way above what the Super is offering. It's almost, in some cases, catching up to the 2070 Super. So they're really just bringing the fight. And then on the Intel side, AMD released their new processors. Ryzen Gen 3 Ryzen, but it's based on the Zen 2 architecture. And for the same price point, they're matching and exceeding, in a lot of cases, what Intel is offering. Like, they just fighting out. Hold on, they fighting still. Alright, AMD, I'm just trying to finish this part of the video. Can you calm it down a bit? Alright, that's a true and valid point. But I'm just saying, let me just finish the video, okay? Alright. When they start fighting, this is like, when they started fighting, they can't stop. They can't help themselves. Anyway, yeah, they're bringing the fight to Intel and Nvidia. But obviously, with the graphics cards, you're not going to get some of the features like ray tracing, but you are getting better performance for that price point. So they're making an argument in both cases. That's up to you. That's on you what you want to do. Alright? Alright, there was too much fighting in that first story, so let's just go to a more peaceful time between Amazon and Google. So they're finally making peace, and the YouTube app officially became available on Fire TV this week. So all y'all people with the Fire TVs who had to use the bootleg web browser version of YouTube, you're finally getting official YouTube back. Prime Video is going to make its way over to Google devices like the Chromecast in the upcoming months. So it's a win-win for everybody. They're finally getting along. The beef is officially squashed. They squashed it a few months ago, honestly, but now that YouTube is back on the Fire Stick and Prime Video is just, it warms my heart. It warms my heart, especially because it's not like, AMD just trying to take out everybody and kill everybody. Beef with multiple companies, like, you got these two juggernauts. They're getting along and they're friends. Everybody in the world should be friends. We should all hug each other. Should love each other. Loving Duggan, and I know y'all getting bored dealing with him. And I know you want my Duggan. My loving, thug loving. Next story. Apple had to pull the Walkie Talkie app from the Apple Watch this week because of a vulnerability that allowed people to drop in on your conversations. Now, according to what Apple said, that no one was affected by this bug, at least that they know of, but they are rushing to get it fixed. So Apple has pulled the feature until they can get the bug fixed. Kind of like what happened with FaceTime earlier this year. So at least they caught it before anybody was affected by it. But you gotta watch yourself. All these companies leaking your data, dropping it in your conversations. It's a hard world out here. DMX. Wait, did he ever say that? He had to have said that at some point. Speaking of Apple, they officially RIP'd the MacBook this week. No, not the MacBook Air or the MacBook Pro. The regular MacBook, the super thin one that had like one port and introduced a butterfly switch keyboard that everybody is mad about. That MacBook is RIP. It's Dunzito. It really didn't make any sense anyway because it was more expensive than the MacBook Air, but was less powerful, and they hadn't refreshed it in a while. We saw the lining on the wall. The only one that didn't see it was the MacBook. It was like, oh, well, I'm serving a purpose. What purpose were you serving MacBook? None. Alright, but they have been blowing them out for like $850. So if you want to cop one, you'll get your little entry-level MacBook. It's not a bad deal, just saying. But still, we knew it was coming, but just Apple made it official. So RIP to the MacBook. Have a moment of violence. Sorry, no AMD. I said silence. No. For the MacBook. In our next story, as we get into this Nintendo news, they were doing a little press conference thing or whatever earlier this week, and they got asked about cloud gaming and some of the future stuff, you know, with online. And they're like, you know what? We're not interested in cloud gaming, but we keep our eye out for it, but we're just trying to offer like a unique console experience that you can't get over the cloud. Which is true because they do a lot of stuff with motion controls and a lot of weird stuff. But the point is, they online bad. Like, I love my Nintendo Switch a lot, but their online is like, feature-wise, like, okay, gameplay-wise, like if you play in a match, it's fine. But like, try to invite a friend to something, and it's just like, it's awful. It's barbaric. Before they even attempt to do anything cloud-wise, they would have to just completely rethink their infrastructure. And I know they're trying to make stuff safe for the kids, but the kids be on Xbox and PS4 too. So come on. Imagine that. Trying to get on the cloud games. Trying to play a game in the cloud. You gotta enter in a 3,000-digit friend code to even log into the cloud. No one wants to do that. So it's good that they're staying away from cloud gaming. They just need to stay away from online gaming in general. Or fix it. Fix it. Got to fix it. AMD got me fighting. And in our final story, which brings us better news from Nintendo. Not that the last news was bad, but this is just better. They unveiled the Switch Lite, which will launch September 20th at $199. So there's some key differences. For one, the main point of contention was it doesn't have the option at all to connect to a TV. So it's completely portable. The Joy-Cons are built in, which is fine. Like, honestly, I bought a Pro controller, so I don't ever take the Joy-Cons off anyway, even if I dock it. So to me, built-in Joy-Cons makes sense. You can still pair other controllers to it, like this Pro controller or the separate Joy-Cons if you need to. And since the Joy-Cons aren't detachable, it doesn't have like the IR motion sensor built in, and it doesn't have HD rumble. But it does give you a regular D-pad instead of the 4 buttons, which for me, I don't really care. I mean, the D-pad's probably a little bit better, but like the 4 buttons doesn't bother me as much as it bothers other people. I don't know why. I mean, like I said, I'm not like the most avid gamer, so I guess like for me, I just make it work. I let it do what it do, and then just do it. I was honestly complaining earlier this week. I was like, they made too many compromises, but when I saw that they dropped the mic texted out color switch just for me, I was like, I have to get one. I have to, because Nintendo didn't have to look out for me like that, but they did, and I really appreciate that. So I'm about like 3. Thank you so much, Nintendo. I really appreciate the mic texted out edition Switch. What you mean for Pokemon? It's not for Pokemon, it's for me. They made it for me. You know what? I'm tired of talking. I'm tired of talking to y'all. Leave me alone. That is going to bring this episode to a conclusion. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, and subscribe, and always do at least 2 things at the same time. Peace.